Welcome to week 3 of the Power Rankings. There was a lot of upsets this week, so let's get right into it. At 32, you guessed it, the Carolina Panthers continue to somehow get worse. So bad, in fact, that they've benched their potato, Bryce Young. Maybe now they can throw for over 100 yards. At 31, the New York Giants failed to get the job done against the Commanders, losing by a last play field goal. At 30, the Denver Broncos struggled to get anything going against the Steelers, being held to only 6 total points. At 29, the Tennessee Titans offense struggles in the red zone yet again, with costly turnovers. Can they clean up these mistakes and get a win next week against the Jordan Loveless Packers? At 28, the New England Patriots lose in overtime to the Seahawks after failing to stop the pass game. Can they get back on track next week against the Jets? At 27, the Chicago Bears offense continues to suck. They have put up a total of 15 points now over 2 games. Can the Bears figure out their issues and save the season? At 26, the Indianapolis Colts couldn't stop the run game again on Sunday against the Packers. Richardson also decided it was a good day to throw to the Packers defense, giving up 3 picks. It will be an interesting matchup next week against the Bears, who can't run the ball, and the Colts, who can't stop the run. At 25, the Washington Commanders, despite winning the game, couldn't find the end zone against the Giants. They'll need to fix up their red zone offense to have a chance against the Bengals next week. At 24, the Las Vegas Raiders move up 6 places after beating the Ravens with a last-minute field goal. The defense of the Raiders looked great, with Max Crosby leading it. They now face the worst team in football next week. Can they double down on their wins? At 23, the LA Rams get handed a beatdown by Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. The defense struggled to contain the run, opening up big plays for Marvin Harrison Jr. They now face the injured 49ers next week. Can they turn things around or face starting 0-3? At 22, the Jacksonville Jaguars struggled to put points on the board again this week, only putting up a total of 13 points, falling to 0-2 in the season, and now have to face the Bills away and risk starting the season 0-3. At 21, the Arizona Cardinals put up 41 total points, with rookie Marvin Harrison Jr. finally turning up to the game and putting on a show with 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. If he can continue this form, the Cardinals will be a hard team to stop on offense. At 20, the Green Bay Packers get the job done without Love. Josh Jacobs putting up 151 rushing yards and the defense holding the Colts to only 10 points. Can they repeat next week against the Titans? At 19, the Atlanta Falcons bounce back with a big win over Philly in their last-minute drive, stealing the game away with a touchdown to London after Slay failed to cover him. They continue their tough schedule next week with the Chiefs. At 18, the LA Chargers get the convincing win against the Panthers, holding them to only 3 total points. Dobbins once again looked dominant, but can they do that against the Steelers defense next week? At 17, the Miami Dolphins fall 10 places after their performance against the Bills. Tua couldn't find a connection with anyone except the Bills defenders, throwing them 3 passes and one of them resulting in a touchdown. Now with Tua out with a concussion, they look to QB Skylar Thompson. At 16, the Cincinnati Bengals fall short to the Chiefs in a last-minute field goal to snatch the win. Despite the loss, the Bengals look much better this week compared to last, and hopefully we'll be getting T. Higgins back next week against the Commanders. At 15, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense gets the job done again this week, holding the Broncos to only 6 total points. Fields continues his safer play style this season, relying on his defense to get the stops and ultimately win out the games. Can this method work next week against the Chargers? At 14, the Seattle Seahawks get the win over New England in overtime without Walker. DK Metcalf turned up big on Sunday with 129 yards and a touchdown. They now face the Dolphins, who should be without Tua after his injury against the Bills. Can the Seahawks capitalize on this? At 13, the Cleveland Browns bounce back after their terrible performance against the Cowboys, beating out the Jags and holding them to only 3 points in the first half. They now have their easiest matchup so far of the year against the struggling Giants. At 12, the Dallas Cowboys defense let in 6 consecutive touchdown drives. At halftime, they were down 35-16, and their offense just wasn't able to keep up. Dallas now face Baltimore and will have to figure it out if they want to stop their run game. At 11, the Baltimore Ravens choked the game away after being up 10 late into the third. They now start the season 0-2 for the first time since 2015 and face going 0-3 if they can't get the job done against the Cowboys next week. At 10, the New York Jets get their first win of the season with Aaron Rodgers. After a painfully slow start, they managed to get things going in the second half, holding out the Titans to win by a touchdown. At 9, the Philadelphia Eagles fall late to the Falcons after Barkley drops a sitter in which would have won them the game. The defense looks solid until the final drive, in which Kirk Cousins and company carved them up the middle. At 8, The 49ers couldn't convert against the Vikings' defensive schemes. With key injuries to McCaffrey and now Deebo Samuel, their other stars will have to pick up the slack if they want to win next week. At 7, the Detroit Lions couldn't convert their yards into points, with Goff giving up 2 interceptions against an average backfield for Tampa Bay. The Lions will need to be better next week as they face the hot start Cardinals. At 6, the Minnesota Vikings upset the 49ers at home, holding them to 17 total points. Jefferson led the way on offense with 133 yards in just 3 quarters before getting injured. The Vikings now have to prepare for the Texans with Jefferson in question. At 5, the Houston Texans get the job done at home after an average performance against Chicago. The defense was the difference maker here, holding the Bears to only 13 total points. They now face the Vikings, who have looked impressive over the first 2 weeks. At 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers move into the top 10 after taking down the Detroit Lions and holding them to only 16 total points. After an impressive win, they now face the Broncos, who should be their easiest matchup so far. At 3, the New Orleans Saints are finally back. The offense has been brought back to life by Kubiak, absolutely dominating the Cowboys from start to finish, and head into week 3 scoring over 90 total points. They now face the 1-1 Eagles as they look to improve to 3-0. At 2, the Buffalo Bills continue to show up despite their lack of weapons on offense. The Bills' defense seems to be playing with more fire in their belly this year. They now face the 0-2 Jags, who will be desperate for a win. At 1, the Kansas City Chiefs get the job done against the Bengals with a late field goal to win the game. They did lose their running back, Isaiah Pacheco, to an injury and will miss 6 weeks. They now face the Falcons, who will look to upset the Chiefs after doing it to the Eagles. That concludes another week of the Power Rankings. Let us know what you got below, and until next time, bye.